Okay, fans, good evening and welcome to another exciting Channel 22 sports presentation. There you see Jonathan Smith going in for the layup. Let's set the table very quickly. We're here at Leuzinger High School, home of the Olympians. Tonight, the Olympians host the Saxons of North Torrance, who come in 3-19 overall, 1-10 in Bay League competition. I'm Rufus Washington, joined by my colleague always, Dave Marks. And things got off to a rather unusual start, but we're here, we're ready, and we'll get Dave in for you in a minute as we get things set. This being the Saxons' first trip up the floor. They missed the basket. The game actually started, fans, with it started with two technical free throws being shot by the Saxons, which they made both of them. Dave.
And for why, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know, but I've never seen a basketball game start that way before, but obviously Leuzinger had to do something before the tap that warranted North Torrance getting two technical shots, which they made, and the ball. But North Torrance, based on their record coming in tonight, is going to need a lot more help than that.
Shot from the outside by the Saxons, no good. Again, we'll set the lineup for you in just a second. As soon as we get a feel on the drive to the basket, that's C.J. Fogg. So the Leuzinger lineup has Derek Clark, number 4, Jonathan Smith, number 10, C.J. Fogg, 15, Darren Gilliam, 21, and Maurice Givens, 31. There's the lead pass to Derek Clark, scored a basket, and less than a minute in, we've got a 7-2 ball game, which forces the very quick timeout by the Saxons of North. Their coach, of course, Robert Nobles.
Well, with a 7-2 score, what you're going to see tonight is basically what you saw in the last ball game we did, the last Leuzinger win a couple of nights ago. Leuzinger this year, a team that will run and will press all over the court. They are a young and athletic team, a team that plays better as a team, their coach Travis Showalter feels, than they did last season. Their record does not totally reflect that. They're 500, 12-12, because they played some tough teams earlier in the year. They're 4-8 in the Bay League, which is a tougher league than the Ocean League that they won last season. However, they're coming on as of late. If you look at North Torrance having a horrible year, 3-19 overall, 1-9 in league. They appear to be undermanned and undersized and are going to have a tough time tonight, but they will try.
North inbounds against the press. Breaks it fairly easily. Handling for them out top, that's Adam Ross, who's a junior guard. That shot up, no good. We'll get the rest of the North starters for you in just a minute. Jonathan Smith with the crossover pull-up jumper. Comes off the right side of the rim. Two Saxons fight for it. They come down with it. That's number 10, June Sinisak with it. Gives it off to Donald James. James, number 5. This is Ross, the guard, who's number 2. He's got real jittery moves like a water bug, being tightly guarded by Derek Clark. And they're going to call travel on the play. Our officials for tonight's contest. That call was made by Mike Hamilton. The referee for tonight's contest is Eric McNeil, both of whom are veteran CIF officials.
And the other official you remarked before the ball game looked like he played some sort of pro ball somewhere.
There you see the turnover forced by the Saxons, and they do come away with it.
For folks who wonder why the Saxons have had a tough time 2 years under Robert Nobles, it's because they have a school of only 1,900 students. And it's tough sometimes to field a competitive basketball team, although they're hoping to get some stability now that Nobles will be in his second year. He hopes to be back next year for a third, and he figures that in his third year he's going to have some stability. And this young man right here, Adam Ross, is on the line. Well, he is a junior. He'll have another year, and you see he appears to be fearless.
And Ross drew the foul on number 15. Of course, that's C.J. Fogg. Appears to be Fogg's first. And Ross, pretty good free throw, makes a pair. So we've got a 7-4 game. Steal by Ross. His jumper from the side, no good. He's in a scramble for the ball, comes away with it. We got a loose ball. Alternating possession will go to the Olympians. Saxons now showing a press of their own, causes some difficulty for the Olympians. Scored a basket and one. Another quick foul on C.J. Fogg. That's 2 on him.
And that a key for North Torrance, because he's one of the players that they'd love to get in foul trouble, because he's one of the captains this year on this Olympian team, playing his first year for Leuzinger. And he is a leaper, and he kind of settles things down there on the floor. And if you can get him into foul trouble in the first quarter, that's a plus.
Free throw good by number 42, Troy Hurd. Clark goes the length of the floor, score the basket. Makes our score now 9-7. Here in early first quarter action, we got 5:46 left in the first quarter on Lawndale's Community Cable, channel 22.
And sometimes, Rufus, matchups mean more than records, because we saw Leuzinger beat Peninsula playing 2 spectacular quarters out of 4 quarters to do it, but for the most part controlled the game the other night. This is a team that, although they don't have as good a record as Peninsula did, height-wise and perhaps energy-wise, match up better with Leuzinger. Since the timeout, they were down 7-2. Well, it's now a 9-7 ball game, which means they're playing a lot better since the timeout, and they're playing with a lot of athleticism and forcing things all over the court. So maybe it's not going to be as easy as Leuzinger thought tonight.
One of the things you need to watch here, because we're still early in the first quarter, and that's that C.J. Fogg has 2 fouls on him already. He's still on the floor. That time, North Torrance doesn't break the press. Slam dunk for Darren Gilliam. Get the ball into the hands of their ball handler. He's a little water bug. He has trouble there, can't get it away. Right now, North Torrance having all kinds of difficulty with the Leuzinger press. That basket up, no good. Torrance comes down with a rebound. Shot was intended to be an alley-oop, comes off, no good. And we're gonna have 3rd foul on C.J. Fogg, lost his composure there. We've got a shot of that, you'll see it. The defensive pressure put on by Troy Hurd got inside of Fogg's head. Fogg acted out of frustration. Referee spotted it, called a foul. That's his 3rd.
And that may be it for him for the half. And we're just in the first quarter, 5:04 to go in it. Although
so
at the moment we don't see a sub coming in for him as yet.
2 subs come on for the Olympians. One of them is number 25, Brandon Dixon. Also coming on is number 3, and that's Lamont Smith, neither of whom played in our last broadcast.
So my bad. In fact, the sub did come in for him, which is only makes sense.
Ball nearly turned over by the Olympians. However, Saxon touched it on its way out. There you see a shot of Coach Travis Showalter, the head guy here for the Leuzinger Olympians. Steal by Torrance. They got a break. Real sloppy ball handling by Torrance. There's another slam dunk by Darren Gilliam. And right now, Dave, Torrance starting to have some problems with this Leuzinger defensive pressure.
Yes, you thought they might be able to handle it because they started out fairly good with Adam Ross handling the ball, but last couple of possessions since they took the lead, they haven't been able to do anything against it.
Score that basket for the Olympians. Clark on the drive. And the Saxons answer back. That's number 55, Robert Gustavus, sophomore. And on the play, Given steps on the baseline. It'll be the Saxons basketball. 3:52 left in the first quarter. Leuzinger leads by a score of 15-9.
Is that full court press he spoke about? Brian Wilson, big number 55 there in the ball game.
And the Saxons, this is the third time they've turned it over on the press, fans. You saw it unfold there. They simply have no answer for it. And if that's going to be the case, then it's going to be a very long evening for them. Jonathan Smith back in the lineup now. Also number 32, Joe Shepard, another guy whom we didn't see in our last broadcast, a veteran of the Leuzinger program, though. Long shot put up, no good. Brandon Dixon comes down with it. Olympians looking to run. Layup put up and in by Jonathan Smith. And this time they beat the press. Nice up fake there by 55. Makes it a 17-11 ball game. Brandon Dixon puts it up from three-point range. Score it. That's his shot. That's his range, Dave.
And as you know, he can get streaky and hit there for quite a while.
That shot comes up short for Torrance. Dixon comes down with the rebound, and you're going to have a foul on the sideline as number 12, Robert Mingo for the Saxons. Impedes Dixon's progress to the detriment of himself because the referee whistled him for a foul on the play. Nice top screen. They go for the alley-oop. You don't get it. Reverse layup doesn't go for Lamont Smith. So now the Saxons have an opportunity to walk it up the floor. Trying to get it inside. They do. And there's going to be a foul called on Lamont Smith over the back.
17 fouls now for the Leuzinger Olympians, which will mean North Torrance will be on the free throw line. And we mentioned they started this game for some reason shooting 2 technicals and got an early 2-0 lead.
So Gustav is at the line to shoot 2. Trying to cut into this 20-11 deficit. First one's up and good.
And Jason Davis for North Torrance so far has been quiet. He's the leading scorer and rebounder for North Torrance.
Gustav is second, no good. And they're going to call charging on there as Lil Adam Ross, number 2 for the Saxons. Perhaps not wisely so, but steps in, draws the charge, and gains a possession for his team.
That's number 2 for Lamont Smith.
There's a steal by the Olympians. Another layup for Jonathan Smith. And you're going to have a foul there by Brian Wilson of the Olympians. Not intentional on Brian's part, but a foul nonetheless. And because Leuzinger is in the penalty situation, that'll send the Saxons to the line to shoot free throws.
And they've got a pretty good free throw shooter on the line, and Adam Ross, 4 out of 4.
Ross, you're right, is a good-looking free throw shooter. By my count, I've got him as having made 5 tonight. Coming on now, number 34, Jason Davis. Going off was David Heights. Ross has now made 6 free throws. His 6 free throws, nearly half of the 14 points that the Saxons have. That shot put up, no good. Rebound taken down to get it in the hands of their guard, Ross. He pushes it up, sees a hole, goes straight through the middle, lays it up and in. Well, if they had left Adam Ross at home, this thing might be a total blowout. Right now, it's only 22-16 with 1:34 left in the first quarter.
You know, that last drive to the basket, C.J. Fogg back in the ball game couldn't challenge the shot because he's playing with 3 fouls.
Leuzinger inbounds on the perimeter. Brandon Dixon puts it up and in. That's a pair of trays so far for Dixon. Ross beats the press with the dribble, nearly loses it. The shot is up, it's no good. Leuzinger's got numbers back. This time Clark spots up for the 3. It doesn't go for him. That basket up and in just on the 3-point line. That's number 12, Robert Mingo. Makes our score 25-18 with under a minute left here in the first quarter. Woo. Fouled on the play. Let's see who they attribute it to. They give that foul to number 12. That's Mingo. It's going to send Derek Clark to the line to shoot 2.
And Derek Clark, they say, is a natural point guard. He started at the shooting guard spot early in the year, but he became a scoring threat. After a tremendous spring and summer, he's being heavily recruited by several colleges, and he's one of 5 Olympians in double digits this year, averaging over 10 points a game.
Our score now, 27-18, 46 seconds left here in the first. Once again, difficulty getting it in. Missed slam dunk there. Nearly another ball handling foul, and looks like this one's going to turn into one. Layup for Derek Clark. And this is really an unfortunate set of circumstances for North Torrance, that they lack ball handlers in order to break the press. 3-point shot put up and in. 8 seconds left, 32-18 now. That basket goes for him. And that'll end the first quarter with our score here at Leuzinger High. The Olympians outscore them in the first by a margin of 32-20 on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22.
And the high scorer is Derek Clark with 9, Brandon Dixon with 9. All of Dixon's 9 points, 3 for 3 from behind the arc. And that last 3-point shot that he made, you know, he could have easily gone in for a layup or a slam dunk if he's so inclined, but to him, I think the 3-pointer is a layup.
And I think you're certainly right in that regard, David. I mean, the guy has to clearly have one of the highest 3-point percentages of anybody we've ever seen, and certainly anybody in the Bay League. I mean, he's a legitimate threat, and you got to play him honest from that range.
Like I said, discussing tomorrow's homework assignment there, as we are back on the rowdy side of the court tonight. Last week we were over there under that Olympic sign that you see. She's not rowdy, but we are definitely in the more vocal part of the stands. We haven't been here since that playoff game last year against Crescenta Valley. I think a 1-point disappointing loss in the opening round of the playoffs by Leuzinger last year to Crescenta Valley. And Leuzinger trying to do this year what Crescenta Valley did last year and get into the playoff CIF Southern Section as an at-large team.
On the drive to the basket, lays on the rim, doesn't go for West. They get in, they tie it up. And again, the possession error belongs to the Olympians. They go length of the court, they throw it out of bounds. That one intended for C.J. Fogg. C.J. Fogg picked up 3 fouls early in the first quarter.
Now, from Leuzinger's point of view, it's going to be interesting to see if they can put together 4 solid quarters. They did not put together 4 solid ones in their win over Peninsula.
Another three-pointer for Brandon Dixon. That's 4 in this game. That's 4 for 4, by the way, fans. That means that's 100%.
And you can't get much more solid than that. In referring to the Peninsula game, that, of course, Leuzinger won the ball game, but Peninsula had the better of the play in the second and fourth quarters. And it could be argued, I mean, going into the fourth quarter, they whittled a 29-point lead down to about 9 points with a couple of minutes to go. And it could be argued that had Peninsula not gotten off to that bad of a start, they could have pulled the ball game out. So Leuzinger tonight, if nothing else, wants to play 4 solid quarters.
Gustavus's basket down on the other end made it 35-22. Now we're going to have a holding foul call against the Olympians, which is going to send the Saxons back to the free throw line.
Yeah, that's number 2 on Jonathan Smith. And Leuzinger picks up the fouls because they are playing aggressive defensively. North Torrance with only 3 team fouls.
Ross misses that one, a rare miss for him. Makes him now 6 out of 7 from the line.
And he is their leading scorer with 8 points.
Converts to second. So we've got ourselves a 12-point differential right now at 35-23. We're early in the second quarter. Just under 7 minutes left. Scored a basket for the Olympians. Olympians keeping the press on. Davis wants to insist on handling it himself.
Well, Davis is their best player. He's headed off here.
Well, but he's not their best ball handler. That's why the coach is
true.
putting him on the bench right now. You know, the objective was to get the ball to Ross.
And he's trying to do a little too much, and so far has yet to mark and be effective in the ball game.
Torrance now operating out of a set offense here. Working along the baseline again. A lot of ball passes with the difficulty they have protecting the ball. I'm not sure I'd want to pass this much. There's a shot there. Three-pointer put up and in by Adam Ross. Okay, now they correct the scoreboard. Makes their score 40-26. 55 had the shot, didn't take it. Gives it off to 5. He throws up an off-balance shot. He was traveling. That was Donald James trying to keep from getting a travel call. Just throwed it up there. Scored a basket. Makes it 40-28.
Sometimes it pays to be lucky.
That shot from distance, no good. And it'll go out of bounds to the Saxons. Leuzinger still showing press. Yeah, there you go. You got to come back to the ball. Now you go long. Well, I got to tell you, one, they're forcing Ross, and you teach guys this at a lower level. Obviously, Coach Noble has a lot of confidence in his dribbling ability today, but you beat the press with the pass, not the dribble.
That's true, and you get that 3-on-1 if you do it.
That shot from outside, no good. Off with the rebound is Brian Carroll for North. And it's stripped from Carroll. Score layup for Derek Clark. I know this is only Coach Noble's second year, obviously a program that he's building. A lot of things, and for any coach, early in your program, it takes a while to teach players your style of basketball and what you want them to do. This particular team has a ways to go.
Well, it's particularly tough when you consider that 4 starters from last year are ineligible this year. So it can't get much tougher, but they do have the right sort of character to turn the program around because he's had success wherever he's been. He, of course, graduated Dorsey High in '86, lettered in football and basketball, inside linebacker and power forward. Played football at Fresno State, inside linebacker, and for some reason he doesn't want this mentioned, but I'm going to mention it anyway. He spent the 1993 season with the San Diego Chargers. Now, why he doesn't want that known? I mean, the Chargers, I don't think were that bad that year.
Steal there by the Saxons. One of the few turnovers they forced. They don't convert, but they will go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, I told him, you know, anytime, how rare is it to get to say that you were on an NFL roster for 1 year? He said he got limited playing time, not too much, but he did make the NFL for 1 year, and that's an accomplishment in anybody's book.
I would agree with you 100%. Robert Noble misses the front end. Looks to get the second. It was a shooting foul. That's why he's shooting 2. Doesn't get either one to go. 4:40 left in the first half. Leuzinger up by a score, 42-29, fans. Here's Brandon Dixon from downtown. Make it 5 in a row. There you go. Pass the, there you go. There was still one more pass to be made. Would have been an easy basket. Here you got a 3-on-1. We have a blocking foul called against Torrance. That's going to send Leuzinger to the line in the form of number 3, Lamont Smith, to shoot 2.
So the question was Leuzinger going to put 4 solid quarters together or 2 good quarters back-to-back? Well, they're putting a pretty solid second quarter back-to-back here. So they still have the legs, and they're still doing what they need to do. They're getting the fast breaks, playing the good defense, and they are headed to what looks like a high offensive production tonight.
Second one is converted.
And more with that full court press.
Now they go to the eye. Looks like a little more success breaking it. Now they get the idea of passing again to beat the press. You see what I mean?
But of course, you got to avoid the throwing it into the back court.
You know, we don't keep these kind of stats, Dave, but I got to tell you, the number of unforced errors by North is just unbelievable. Got an official's timeout on the court. Looks like they're going to charge it to North. A score at the timeout, 46-29 in favor of the Olympians.
And this, of course,
Shot partially blocked by the Olympians. There's the lead pass up the court. And they say that Lamont Smith stepped on the baseline. So it's going to be North basketball, 2:48 left in the first half. Now you're starting to see good fundamentals, fans. If you got a shot at that, not sure why they didn't do that earlier in the contest, but clearly that's how you break the press.
And that's the benefit of the timeout.
Brandon Dixon, 6 for 6 from three-point range.
And that's how you shoot a dagger in the heart.
North answers back. 51-37 for a team that's 3-19, Dave. They're hanging around for a while here. There's a turnover. Leuzinger getting a little too fancy with it. Joe Shepard with the basketball. He goes down. Ball's on the floor. And we're going to have an out-of-bounds call on the sideline.
Well, Rufus, the reason why they're hanging around is because the record, as I mentioned earlier, is not as important as the matchup. Athletically, they appear to match up very well with the Leuzinger Olympians. And now that they appear to have solved the riddle of the press, that certainly helps them somewhat, but Leuzinger being saved by some fine three-point shooting by Brandon Dixon.
Leuzinger also starting to showboat just a little bit, and that cost them a possession. And it's way too early in the game to showboat. We got ourselves a 12-point game, fans, at 1.5 minutes left here in the first half. 51-39. Possession is going to remain with the Olympians. That three no good by Jonathan Smith. Ross has been on the bench a long time for them. 1:10 left, down by 12 with a chance to cut it to 10, maybe even 9. Bad cross-court pass, bad decisions there. Some of these guys, some of the decisions that they're making, and I can guarantee you they're not coached to make those decisions. They're just bad decisions by the players, exposing the ball through cross-court passes, losing or stolen it time and time again.
And they're fortunately bailed out as Joe Senesac is going to go to the line to shoot 2. Foul that time underneath by Maurice Givens.
First free throw is good for Joe Senesac. They substitute everybody on the floor except for Senesac. Does the Saxons. Second free throw, no good, but possession will go to the Olympians. Leading by 11 here with just a split second under a minute left in the first half. Alley-oop attempt, reverse is good. That was Lamont Smith with the reverse layup and scored a basket and one for Jason Davis, who will go to the line now.
Well, Jason Davis answering right back. The acrobatic pass. Jonathan Smith to Lamont Smith.
So Leuzinger is scoring all the style points. Nobody will argue with them on that, but they're allowing a thoroughly outclassed team to hang around here. Dixon puts up a three-pointer. That's 7.
And he's been their insurance policy.
Stats, by the way. He gives you the sign. He's got 21 points here in the first half. That shot up, no good. 20 seconds left. And they lose it out of bounds. Darren Gilliam lets it get away. We got 18 seconds left, 56-42 is the margin right now.
And that last foul by Leuzinger on Jason Davis was committed by C.J. Fogg, so he's got 4. And that's going to limit his effectiveness for the second half.
Fortunately, Leuzinger is a deep basketball team. They may not suffer at all. 5 seconds left here. Nice inside shot. Up and in. So, at the end of a half, our score, Leuzinger 56. The Saxons of North Torrance hanging tough with 44 on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Fans will join you for second half action after the halftime ceremonies. All right, we're back, fans, to start the second half with Leuzinger leading by a margin of 56-44. I think it's a fortunate 44, if you ask me, Dave, for the Saxons of North Torrance, considering the number of turnovers that they had. Leuzinger led, of course, by Brandon Dixon with 21 points on 7 of 9 shooting, 7 3-pointers, and Adam Ross, no surprise, with 13 points, was the leading scorer for the Saxons. Early foul committed here to start the third quarter by Jonathan Smith. Had a chance to speak to his dad for a few minutes at halftime. And some of the other Leuzinger faithful, including the girls' freshman and JV coach, freshman and sophomore coach Penny. Leuzinger looking to run. Clark throws up an off-balance shot. It doesn't go. Leuzinger with a bit of a slower start here in the second half, Dave, than the way they started the game.
Last 3 minutes of the second quarter, West Torrance kind of composed himself in that they were breaking the press more effectively, and you see that good backdoor pass right there. And although they still have a little bit of a hill to climb, they are showing that they can match up well athletically with Leuzinger.
And right now, we've got ourselves a 10-point game at the 7-minute mark of the third quarter. And this is as close as North has been in quite some time. They're looking to get it under double digits for the first time since the first quarter, quite frankly. And they missed that opportunity. Pass goes through the hands of Gustavus. That basket goes for the Olympians, extends their lead back out to 12. So we'll make a note of the fact that as close as North got was 10 with a chance to go to 8. And now they do get it under double digits at 9 points at 58-49.
And they're just playing a lot more composed. Leuzinger Olympians are not having a good half-court offense. And they're bailed out right there by Derek Clark in the half-court game. We mentioned Leuzinger, of course, a small team, does not really have a post-up game. And this is the first time since we've covered, only the second game we've done this year, but this is the first time that we've seen them have to play a half-court game and have to rely on something else besides a three-point shot.
Clark to shoot the free throw. It's short. Rebound taken down by Jason Davis, number 34. Had a chance to ask the referee, Eric McNeil, what the nature of the technical was. Scored a basket for Davis there to make it a 60-51 game. His indication to me was that Leuzinger dunked in the pregame warm-ups, which apparently is illegal by CIF rules, and that's what cost them the technical.
Well, rules come and rules go, don't they? That's a very interesting one, and it would be interesting to know what precipitated them making a rule like that.
And scored an easy basket off the near turnover. That's Troy Hurd, and all of a sudden we've got a 7-point ball game. Torrance running, guy not looking up.
Well, Rufus, since that timeout came at about the 3 minutes plus mark of the second quarter, when you were saying that North Torrance had to settle down and learn how to break the press with a pass. Since they've done that, the composure of this ball game has completely changed.
And you're going to have a holding call here. So Leuzinger is starting to come a bit at the seams, come apart just a little bit at the seams here. Very surprisingly, a game in which they were firmly in command, to say the least, all of a sudden is now a 7-point game with a possibility of that being reduced to 5, if not 4.
Well, with the press being broken, they're not getting those easy points off of turnovers. They're being forced to play a half-court game, and they can't do it on just a 3-point shot.
It's a shot from downtown. It doesn't go. They got a good look at it, though. C.J. Fogg back on the floor. Fogg has 4 fouls. That's something to pay note of. Brandon Dixon fakes the 3-pointer, gives it off to Joe Shepard. His shot no good. Follow put up and in by Darren Gilliam.
That a big offensive board right there.
That shot no good by Davis. Davis is going to be whistled for the frustration foul. Missed the layup, and it's almost just a natural human reaction, man. You miss the chippy, and you get frustrated. You go for the ball. Referee catches you, foul.
And that's his second, so he'll be coming out at the 4:20 mark of quarter number 3 in a ball game that's become competitive.
So another 4-point swing here in favor of the Olympians. And now you've got North coming up with steals. That shot from outside, that's not Gustavus' shot. That slam dunk attempt, no good.
And Gilliam 3 out of 5 on the dunk attempts, and he, of course, is their biggest presence in the middle, their most agile presence in the middle. C.J. Fogg is a leaper, but he does it a lot from outside. Brian Wilson is what you call a lane clogger, not so much a leaper. Leuzinger Olympians, not a big team. They're obviously not a throw it into the post sort of team.
They have a charging call made there by referee Eric McNeil. Is going to turn the ball back over to the Olympians. North down by 9 at this point. We got 3:38 left in the third. 62-53 is our score. And there's a steal and a turnover by North. Gives it right back to the Olympians. One of the stats that you like to note, Dave, after Leuzinger jumped out to that 32-20 lead in the first quarter, North actually played them even 24-all in the second quarter.
And again, we'll mention for about the 4th time, it all turned around once they learned how to break that press. They're forcing Leuzinger to have to work a lot harder in other areas, and Leuzinger is turning the ball over.
That's number 10 with the handle for the Olympians. That's June Sinisak. That shot up no good by North. Dixon with the rebound. Gets it up court to Clark. Here they come again. That one goes up. It's no good. But it's going to send Lamont Smith to the line to shoot 2.
Now, if Leuzinger is going to wind up in the playoffs, these are the sort of games that they're going to have to learn how to handle. They're going to have to learn how to get to the line, how to penetrate, how to drive. You know, when that full court press is not going, it doesn't always work for all 4 quarters. And when the 3-pointer's not going, you got to find something else. And why not get to the free throw line?
And they convert a pair of free throws. Makes it 64-53. It's going to be out of bounds. Again, they fail to break the press. Press giving them trouble. Nearly stolen by Ross. Thrown away by Clark.
there. Our cameraman was a target that time. That errant pass.
Well, virtually a turnover, although it hit the rim. It wasn't an intended shot there by North. Once again, they need to go back to the basics. That shot put up inside the three-point line by Dixon, and it goes. He now has 23 for the game. Scored a basket for Lamont Smith. So now all of a sudden what was a 7-point game has turned into a 15-point contest at 68-53. 3-on-1, they got numbers, and they score.
For Robert Gustavez, that's now 11, and here's another steal.
Long pass broken up by North. Gives them a chance with 2 minutes left to cut into this 13-point deficit. 19 on the shot clock. Comes away with it. Shot put up, it's no good. Dixon comes down, he's gonna set up. Dixon goes inside, lays it up. So Brandon Dixon showing that this game consists of more than 3-pointers. Gets a layup that time. The shot before that was about a 10-footer. So he's got 25 points here in the third quarter, at the end, deep into the third quarter, I should say, and our score is 70-55 in favor of the Leuzinger Olympians.
Well, I think what's turned things around the last few minutes is Leuzinger is just starting to penetrate and get to the free throw line. They only went to the line, I think, let's see, in the first half, unofficially they had just 4 shots on the line in the first half, whereas North Torrance spent quite a bit of time there in the first half. However, in the second half it's different. Since the press was not fully working and the three-pointer was not always falling in this third quarter, they're depending on penetrating and getting to the line, and it's helped them to fluff the lead somewhat.
1:35 left in the third. Yeah, and you got a cross court. Rare error there by the Olympians. Actually, Jonathan Smith talked into that error by Brandon Dixon.
Now, what genius in our production crew decided to put us on this side tonight? I asked what very intelligent person in our production crew decided to put us over here tonight.
Well, he wants to get the flavor of the home crowd. Offensive rebound comes down to the North team. Goes out off of a Leuzinger player, remains.
Rufus, do you realize a member of our crew has his car better protected than we are? So that shows you where they're loyal. They care more about their personal transportation than their announcer's safety. How about that?
That shot from three-point range by Ross, no good. Offensive rebound taken down. Official Mike Hamilton says stay right here. So we got 1:09 left in the third. Here's a shot from three-point range. It's no good.
And the inability to hit the three ball for North Torrance has been their undoing. If they knock down some of those three-pointers, it's a much tighter game.
Joe Shepard on the floor now, gives it off to Jonathan, and he hits it. Jonathan Smith with the three-pointer. Makes it an 18-point ball game now. Leuzinger starting to assert itself a little bit. That shot comes off the front of the rim. That goes back, it's up and in. Scored a basket for Jason Davis. I believe the foul is gonna go on Joe Shepard. Yeah, and it does.
Well, they probably felt he was fouled the first time by Maurice Givens. That's his fourth. But he'll have a chance with a three-point play.
Misses the free throw, but it goes out of bounds, out the hands of the Olympians. So with a 16-point lead, or deficit, I should say. North with a chance to cut into it. That shot from the outside by Davis, no good. He gets the rebound. Looks like they're going to hold it for one. Ball in the hands of Ross. Back over to Davis, out top.
Appears to be some sort of problem with the clock. It's the reason why we stopped for a second.
Well, I believe the clock is probably off. And it is. Approaching 10 seconds left in the third. North looking for one shot. They get it inside to Davis. He puts it up off the glass and in. We're losing her good. Last shot from outside, up, and man, it was on line. That was just short. That fell 1 foot short of the basket, but it was right on line, Dave. And after three, our score, Leuzinger 73, North 59.
Well, North Torrance was game for most of the third quarter, but once Leuzinger just changed things up and started trying to get to the line and started trying to penetrate, get to the basket, it sort of turned things around, and then a three-pointer or two starts to fall for them where they were not falling for North Torrance, and it's to their advantage, and they've fluffed the lead to 73-59 with 8 minutes remaining in this game.
They lost 2 points on the quarter there. They were outscored by the Olympians 17-15. So after three, fans here at Leuzinger High School, our score, the Olympians leading by 14 at 73-59. Take the floor to start the fourth and final period for the Olympians. You got number 10, Jonathan Smith. C.J. Fogg, 15. 32 is Joe Shepard. 31 is Maurice Givens. And 21 is Darren Gilliam. Got a call being made by Mike Hamilton. He calls a foul on Ross, the little point guard for North. Joe Shepard in there, comes down with the rebound. Joe tries to go up, doesn't get it to go. Joe's being very active. Jonathan Smith goes up. He scores the basket. A lot of contact there that the officials let go. C.J. Fogg with the steal. Put up no good by the Olympians.
Yeah, I think Jason Davis got away with quite a few that time for North Torrance.
So our score right now, 75-59. 7 minutes left in the contest. You're going to call foot contact with the basketball. And of course, in basketball, that is always a violation. Torrance still need, and you get an over-the-top call there. You can see that one coming. That one's going to go against Darren Gilliam.
So both teams now with just 5 team fouls. And that's number 1 for Gilliam. If North Torrance is going to make a move, they're going to have to do it right at about this point.
Up and under doesn't go. They try for the follow. They still got it. North Torrance coming up with a lot of loose balls. And it was almost and one. Going to the line, Robert Gustavus. He'll shoot 2.
They got Maurice Givens that time, and that's it for him. That's number 5. Maurice Givens disqualified on the 5 personal fouls and did not mark from the field tonight. So frustrating night for the senior.
Gustavus scores the free throw, I should say, the first one. Converts a pair. Makes it a 14-point ball game again, and it's going to be North's basketball as they force the turnover. Off-balance shot put up and in by Brian Carroll. So once again, they get within 12. Lots of basketball time left. And it's a charge call, and it was easy to call. And if you're Lamont Smith, you better back off.
Somehow, Rufus, I almost knew you were going to say that was easy to call. Quite obvious there. I mean, you want to obviously take, seems like teams that are able to take it to the hole do well, but of course, you've got to be composed. You got to realize where you are on the court.
Pass the ball. For goodness sakes, man. Okay. Yeah. There's some things here that this North team, and I guess I have to take my coach's hat off. I'm seeing the game through two pairs of eyes. One as an announcer, Dave, and another as a coach. And
well, good. We appreciate those coaching.
The unwillingness or the lack of mental intensity to understand to release the pass. I mean, it's driving me nuts as a coach, man. Yeah. So North maintains possession. They're down by 12, 6:22 left. Ross from three-point range. His shot doesn't go. The closest they've been is 7 at 60-53. And there's another turnover. Ross back to defend. Leuzinger passes the ball. That's what we're talking about, fans. That's how you play fast break basketball. Look at it again. This is so well. Score the basket. Forget it. You guys see it. You understand what's happening. And we're going to have an over-the-top foul called against Davis as he went over the back of Darren Gilliam. It's a 12-point game, fans. We got 5:49 left on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Leuzinger leads 77-65.
You also coach at the company picnic?
Well, I usually take a break then. But I am having fun with the young men that I work with who are all 10-year-olds. Nice hand in there by Gustavus, forces a turnover. Handling it is Brian Carroll right now. Cross-court pass to number 5. His shot up, comes off, and the follow goes. Put the basket in. Score that basket for Troy Hurd, rather. And once again, we've got a 10-point game. And remember, the closest they've been this half was 7 at 60-53.
And if North Torrance was able to hit a three-pointer, they would almost have this ball game tied if they could hit from behind the 3 line.
Jonathan Smith's three-pointer, no good. Saxons don't look to run. They set it up. There's their three-pointer. It's short, but they get the offensive rebound. You're going to have a rough foul there. You may even have
that's Lamont Smith again, and that's number 4. So even though they're missing the three-pointers, Leuzinger not on the board. He's getting the rebounds, which gives North Torrance the other opportunities, and they're getting to the foul line.
Well, this is the other element of the game that it's important to be good at. Hurd misses the first of 2.
Travis Showalter going to get Lamont Smith out of the ball game, and also Jonathan Smith will come out.
And Hurd misses a pair, a crucial pair of misses there. Could have cut this 10-point lead to 8. Shot blocked, they stay with it. There is a fake by Clark.
Well, Derek Clark, the man on the drive, back in the ball game here. And C.J. Fogg, who has not been heard of in the second half because he got in very early foul trouble, 4 fouls at the half, 4:33 to go. And Leuzinger needs a little leadership on the floor.
Clark makes the first of 2. Davis comes back on the court for the Saxons as Gustavus goes off. So it's an 11-point ball game. Leuzinger shows press. Again, you got to pass out of it. And you got to be willing to make more than one pass out of it, as Davis apparently doesn't understand for them.
Brian Carroll there to bail him out at the 4:10 mark. This is a team, Rufus, that Leuzinger beat North Torrance on their home court by some 30 points just a few weeks ago.
Well, that's not likely to happen tonight unless North Torrance does a lot of fouling. Another three-pointer for Dixon. There's a lead pass. If I were them, I'd slow it up and find somebody. Now you got a double dribble call against North. Yet another turnover. It's a 12-point game, fans, 81-69. All this excitement being brought to you by the good folks at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 under the direction of Mr. Tom Strickfaden. That layup doesn't go for Clark. They can call a blocking foul.
So Derek Clark settling things down since he's been in the ball game. Able to draw the contact, and he goes to the charity stripe for two.
Coach Noble not quite agreeing with that call. First one goes for Clark. And he gets a pair. Nice lead pass, going for the layup, and it does. That's number 4. Keisuke Yoshida gets himself in the record book. Yoshida on the floor to chase and foul if need be.
Yoshida shoots with two hands, kind of like the way I used to shoot in the 70s. Don't see that two-hand set shot much anymore. Not
Quite
even
frankly, I hadn't seen it since the last time Kuzi shot one.
Even in the WNBA, you don't see it.
So Joe Shepard at the line makes the first. Both teams in the bonus now. 85-71 our score, fans. 3 minutes and a little bit of change left here in the contest. Leuzinger up by 14. And they force the turnover. That's Yoshida.
He doesn't appear to be too good of a ball handler. But I guess he has to spot up for that open two-hand set shot three-pointer.
Stripped that time, and they're going to say that it went off of Clark. So with 2:54 left, Dave, it looks like a safe bet, if you will, that this one will go in the W column for the Olympians. It's going to up their record to 13-12, 5-8 in Bay League competition. And as you say, I believe they've got, what, one more game left?
One more regular season game on the road against Morningside.
Clark leading the fast break. Clark goes down, scores the layup.
He's had a fine ball game. That's 22 points. And again, he managed to get things turned around once he and C.J. Fogg came back into the ball game after Lamont Smith went out with that 4th personal foul. And this forces North Torrance to have to take the timeout.
Well, the only thing in doubt now, of course, is the final out, final score. You know, the victor is certainly no longer in doubt. Leuzinger is going to get out of here with the win, and that's a credit to the players and the coaching staff. A good win for them. Not as easy as they expected, but a good win nonetheless.
And of course, it will put them over the 500 mark for the season with one more regular season game to go. And again, they have an outside shot at taking third place in the Bay League, which gets them an automatic spot in the playoff. But more than likely, if they're able to win, hold on and win here and win that last one, they'll be looking at the possibility of the at-large bid, which would be a good achievement, if not only for the fact that, if only for the fact that they're playing in a much tougher and competitive Bay League with a totally new team.
Another ball thrown away by Torrance. That layup put up and in by Jonathan Smith, fouled on the play. He's going to go to the line for another three-point opportunity. His final score as the lead is now 18, Dave. Actually, it's one of those situations, and fans don't often understand that. You look at the box score, and it's going to look like Leuzinger blew them out. It was actually a much more competitive contest than the score indicates.
That's true, because the teams matched up fairly well with each other, and it was just a matter of grab a Showalter for Leuzinger, knew when to make the moves at the right time. And we've seen Leuzinger adjust their game accordingly tonight. When they got into the lead, cut it to 7, and when they cut it to 10. And one thing that has really hurt North Torrance is their inability to knock down the three ball. If they hit some of those threes, well, you're looking at a much more competitive game.
That, and they had their chances even here in the second half. As I said, down one time by 7, another time actually here in the fourth quarter by only 9, with a chance to cut into that. Never could make the one more move to get over the hump that they needed. But if you're Coach Nobles, I think you've seen enough, and especially against a team like this, to have reason to be optimistic about what next year can do for you. Pair of free throws put in by Yoshida. Makes it 90-73. We got 2 minutes left. And they're going to give the ball to.
And one of the reasons why I'm missing all those three-pointers hurts is because they're able to press off of made baskets. And their press was effective against Leuzinger at points tonight. It did force Leuzinger to turn the ball over a few times.
Another running opportunity. This will be an easy one for the Olympians. Scored a basket for Trayvon Pickett. So he gets in the book. Gustavus' shot blocked by Darren Gilliam.
That's the old punch out.
Gets the attention of the crowd. That shot put up no good by Davis. Gilliam goes back up inside. Scored a basket, so it's now 92-75. Minute and a half left, fans. Brandon Dixon dribbling around looking for his scoring opportunity, and he goes all the way to score the basket.
And that's 30 points for him tonight. Most of those 30 have been by the three-pointer.
Big night for Dixon.
.24 of the 30, to be exact, by way of a three-pointer.
8 three-point baskets. Not sure if they keep those kind of records here at Leuzinger, but it certainly has to be close to one, if not a record. And guess what? We're able to say we were here to see it. On
Lawndale. Those three-pointers, they were crucial in the first half, especially the latter stages of that second quarter when North Torrance was making a run at it. He was able to answer and deliver some of those big bombs at the right time.
Coach Noble empties his bench, puts a couple of guys on. That's William Est, who've not seen any action tonight. He gets a chance to get in the books. His shot knocked off the board. And we're going to have a foul called against. Not quite sure what the call here is going to be.
Well, after Darrell Gilliam blocked that shot, he just waved his hand at it. I mean, he was just so happy to block that. He just waved that hand in the air.
Got another stoppage here.
Well, one thing Leuzinger, the boys varsity, has done is they have avenged the loss that the girls suffered tonight. The girls team lost to the North Torrance girls in big fashion by about 30 points tonight. Did not look sharp in doing it.
That shot no good. That one comes off, and North is going to maintain possession. And this gets at the stage of the game when everybody just wants to get out of their gym, including the officials. They will maintain control of it, but they just as soon get this thing over and done with. Score that basket for C.J. Fogg. Makes it 96. Leuzinger fans would love to see the century mark. That basket will be no good. Traveling.
Well, that's about the only suspense left, the 21.8.
And with 21 seconds left, you'd need a three-pointer by Brandon Dixon with a foul on it. And I think that the coach is telling them not to shoot, not sure what they're doing. That shot goes up, it's no good. Ross comes down with it. We got 3 seconds left. This will be ball game, fans. And that's our final. Leuzinger wins by a score of 96 to 75, 21-point ball game. Again, ironically, it was actually a lot closer than that. The wheels came off down the stretch for North, but they played a good competitive ball game, and what they've got to look forward to is next year.
Yes, and what their program has to look forward to is stability, which they will have. They'll be having a lot of seniors coming back next year, and they are athletic. You pointed out from the coach's perspective some things that they need to learn and that they will learn about handling the ball and passing the ball properly. From Leuzinger's point of view, they now go over the 500 mark, and they take another step toward possibly an at-large playoff berth. And the key thing about Leuzinger, I think, is that I think that they were able to pretty much do what they wanted to do for most of the ball game. They wanted to come out and press and run. They were able to do it. And every time North Torrance made some sort of run at them, they were simply able to either knock down a three, get to the line, change their strategy, and do what they had to do to pull the game out.
And the player of the game tonight for the Olympians, obviously, Brandon Dixon, who scored 30 points, who rained down three-pointers left and right. I believe he ended up with a total of 8 for the night and a couple of baskets otherwise. Great game for him. Jonathan Smith played a great game. When you put 96 points on the board, that means everybody contributed, and that's what you got from the Olympians, Dave. I think a total team effort, and it'll do them well. As we said, raises their record to 13-12. Their fate now is pretty much in the hands of those poobahs at the CIF who sit and make decisions about who goes and who doesn't.
Well, you know, no matter what, if they do get into the postseason, they're going to have to travel, that's for sure. But tonight, as you mentioned, most valuable player, you can't leave out Derek Clark, who had 22 points. And Derek Clark had a very valuable contribution, particularly when he came into the ball game in the fourth quarter, when he came in after Lamont Smith got into the foul trouble. And we mentioned again, at every point tonight, they were able to do something to counter, and that's why Leuzinger was successful tonight.
So, once again, fans, our final. From Leuzinger High School, the Olympians 96, the visiting Saxons of North Torrance 75. We will be with you on Thursday night from Hawthorne High School, and then we'll set our playoff package once we know what the playoff situation is. So, for the entire crew at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, and from my partner Dave Marks, this is Rufus Washington saying thank you for joining us as always, and we'll see you the next time.